think it's clear that Tomodachi Life has already completely taken over the internet. And that is for one good reason. This game is absolutely hilarious. And so far, I've been having a blast playing it. But there is one big downside to Tomodachi Life, and that is that there is so much of the game that you might not have had the chance to experience because it doesn't really explain anything to you. And after playing the game for over 30 hours already, I'm going to tell you everything that I wish I knew sooner about Tomodachi Life living the dream. Now, if you spent any time with the game, you'll know that making your own creations is a large part of Tomodachi Life. Be it creating your own cursed Miis, creating your own pets, or making food for your Miis to go and eat. Now, in order to make your cursed creations come to life, you're likely going to want to make use of the Switch's touchscreen to be able to draw your own designs. And this is where my first tip comes in. Buy a good stylus. Because even though you can draw with a controller or even just use your fingers, if you're anything like me, you're going to find this not only difficult, but also really annoying. Now, if you scroll across Amazon, you'll see that there's really only 2 styles of stylus that you can buy for both the Switch and the Switch 2. And thankfully, you can get them for pretty cheap. And your options will be either a stylus with a squishy tip, or you can find styluses with this really weird clear disc. And surprisingly, I actually recommend the disc one over the squishy tipped ones. I found that this is far more accurate, as you can see exactly where you're pressing thanks to the disc being clear. It did just take a little bit of getting used to, especially because the end kind of has a spring attached to it. The squishy tip ones are by no means bad, and again are much better than using your fingers, but I just found them to not be quite as precise as the disc ones were, especially when I was just trying to click 1 pixel at a time. And even though it is a little bit weird to get used to, once you have the hang of it, it is so much better than a controller or a finger. And if you're someone like me who has absolutely no artistic talent whatsoever, thankfully really clever people on the internet have come to the rescue. Now right now I'm showing you a really cool website that allows you to put any picture into it and it will convert it into a pixel grid for you to copy and put in your own game. And I'll put a link to it in the description down below. And they even go as far as to tell you the exact colors you need to use to make the picture look exactly like their example. And after playing around with this for a little bit of time, I found the best way to use it is to find a really simple picture with a really dark outline and then set it to use as few colors as possible to get the image to still look like itself. So as you can see, this version of Eevee looks a lot more recognizable than the first picture that I used. Now obviously this will still take a fair amount of time to actually do, but it does mean that you'll have something you actually want to have in your game, even if you're not that talented at drawing. Another thing I wish I knew sooner is the fact that you can actually change up your Miis whenever you want to. All you need to do is click onto the Mii themselves and you'll be able to edit them, and this basically takes you back to the very first Mii creation scene, so you can change absolutely everything about a Mii. And I have used this a lot, either to change the personality of some of the villagers or to just adjust some of the face painting that I've done to be a little bit better as I've learned more. Also, a top tip when it comes to designing Miis: if you're trying to do shading, make sure you look at the different brush styles in the pro mode, because it took me a while to find this exact one and it's made all of the designs that I make look so much better. A few other really useful tips for the face painting mode. Firstly, you can click this face here and this will decide whether the face paint goes behind of the Mii's face or on top of it. Then this little button that looks like it's 3 sheets of paper stacked on top of each other, this is the layering tool, and it basically just allows you to decide where your drawing is going to go relative to other stuff you've already put on the Mii's face. Then we have the alpha locking tool. Now I didn't use this for the longest time because I had no idea what it is, and this is probably one of the most useful tools that you can use. When you click this button, you'll be able to only draw on the areas which you've already drawn on, which can be really useful if you're trying to shade something in, because you don't have to worry about going over the lines. Okay, next up, let's talk all about the gameplay, because I've seen a lot of people say that this game is getting repetitive or stale quickly. And whilst that is true, you will see scenes repeat a lot in this game. There are a few big things you can do to make the game overall feel less repetitive. Now, the biggest thing I'm looking for when I play Tomodachi Life is drama. And the best way to have more drama is to make more Miis. And this is for a multitude of different reasons. The first reason being that the more Miis you have to look after, the more things you actually have to do. And I found that there's a lot more Mii relationships going on, be it friendships or even disagreements, when I had around 20 or so Miis on my island. You also want to give yourself things for the Miis to actually interact with. So you definitely want to make sure that not only are you spending your wishes on getting more items to decorate with, but then you're actually decorating with these new items, as the Miis can interact with these items that you place down and even have different cutscenes associated with them as well. And you can even pick up Miis and place them next to the items to have different things happen. The same thing also goes with prezzies. I try to give my Miis at least a couple to begin with, as they'll just do different things around the island when they have them, and sometimes even interact with other Miis as well. Another reason you're going to want more Miis on your island is because this is the main way you unlock stuff. This could be anything from having new facilities like the restaurant and the Ferris wheel, which again allow you to unlock more cutscenes, but having more Miis will also allow you to expand your island further. Now, if you're someone who's struggling to come up with ideas of Miis, or you're someone who doesn't really like making the Miis, then you're definitely going to want to head to this website called Tomodachi Share. And again, I'll leave the link in the description down below. Now, as you probably know, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream very controversially has stopped you from being able to share Miis online. So that's where this website comes in, as even though you can't share the Miis which you've made, this website will allow you to find a bunch of different Miis that have tutorials and the step-by-step guide on how to make them for yourself. I personally like to sort this by likes so I can see some of the more popular ones first, and as you can see, people are so unbelievably creative, and all of these I can instantly spot what character they are. And if you have a flick through some of these characters, you can see that some of them will have no face paint needed whatsoever, and others will have an awful lot. So you can just pick which one you kind of feel like attempting. I absolutely love this Sabrina Carpenter one. I think it's fantastic, but hopefully this will not only help you to make new Miis for your island, but even give you ideas about who to include so you can get over 20 Miis to begin with. Now, once you have a ton of Miis and locations set up on your island, you're going to find that you're actually kind of busy and that there's a lot going on at once. And even though you may have a lot of notifications going on all at the same time, there are some I definitely prioritize over others. So the way I personally like to play is to prioritize the chaos or the cutscenes. Personally, they are my favorite part of this game, and there's something I never want to miss. So this means that you're going to want to look out for either the squiggly lines. This usually means that a certain Mii is staring at another Mii and wants to go up and talk to them. And this can kind of start any kind of cutscene, but normally it's a Mii trying to become friends with another Mii. And this is a notification that you're going to want to click pretty quickly, as this is dependent on the Miis actually being close to one another, so the notification won't last long, as the Miis are constantly moving. The other notification you really want to keep an eye on is the yellow lines coming out of a character, as this is an indication of another cutscene. And this can really take place anywhere and can sometimes involve multiple Miis at the same time, like if it happens at the restaurant. Again, this is something you don't have too long to react to, so I always try and prioritize it. Another notification that I will try and not miss is the Miis sleeping. These normally lead to the most ridiculous cutscenes possible, and it will often reward you with the treasure afterwards as well. It's also worth mentioning that the time in the day that you play the game will affect which notifications you'll see more. So whenever I play Tomodachi Life late at night, I'll see a lot more Miis sleeping, so you'll get to experience a lot more of the dream cutscenes then than if you were to log in earlier in the day. Now, the pink bubbles are an absolute must. You do not want to avoid these, because these are a romance cutscene, and it can even result in your Miis falling in love, asking another Mii out, or even proposing to get married or having kids. Now, speaking of getting married, we need to talk about the proposal proposal, because this was the thing that shocked me and surprised me the most. You see, when a me tries to propose to another me, you'll be met by the hardest minigame in the entire game. Now, basically, your whole goal with this is to try and not be hit by any of the thought bubbles. It doesn't actually matter how many of the bubbles you pop, you only fail if you get hit by one, not if you don't pop everything. Now, if you're struggling with this minigame, one big tip I have is to just shoot constantly, because you can shoot the bubbles even before they appear on the screen, which will help out massively if you're struggling with this minigame. Another notification you don't want to miss is the purple one, as this means that a me has fallen over, got stuck, or has frozen in place. Now, the reason I love this notification is it's actually the easiest way to kind of orchestrate friendships or even romance between two me's. Because whatever character you bring to help out in this situation, you're very likely to up their friendship after the little cutscene happens. And I've even had a me fall in love with another me after helping them out. So you most definitely always want to make sure that another me helps them rather than you doing it yourself. Now, the lightning bolts mean that a me is annoyed. This normally happens after two me's have a disagreement, and this is super easy to fix. All you need to do is put the cursor over the head of the me and move it side to side to give them little head pats. And not only will this make them happy, but you'll also get some warm fuzzies as well. Now, this means that your me is incredibly sad, and this can be a challenge to deal with, especially if they're like Ash and has gone through one of the worst heartbreaks possible. Now, this type of sadness is not to be mistaken with the other type of sadness with just the blue lines, as this can't be fixed with some simple head pats. Now, the game will try and prompt you to give them a gift to cheer them up. But if you don't know what your me likes yet, this can actually be really difficult to pull off. So I found the easiest way to cheer them up is to just send them on holiday. Not only will you get adorable pictures of them having the best time of their life, when they get back, they'll be completely fine and ready to go as if nothing ever happened. Next up is the orange bubble. This is a friend quest. I tend to make these kind of lowish priority as they tend to stick around. And this is when a me will ask you for a topic to talk about to another me that they want to become friends with. Yellow is very much the same. Again, a pretty low priority. This is just a general request where the me will want something from you. This can be food, clothes, or new decor for their house. And then we have the green lines. And I'm going to be honest, this is a thing that tires me the quickest in Tomodachi Life, because the minigames do get really repetitive. There really doesn't appear to be any downsides to just saying no to carrying out the minigames. I've got more than enough treasures, so I've already started skipping them 30 hours into the game. And by the way, if you didn't know, you can also skip cutscenes if you've seen them too many times as well. Okay, my next tip is something I wish I knew earlier, and this has to do with me's living in the same house. Now, for the longest time in my game, I only really had two me's living together. But there are actually a lot of cutscenes and interactions that you unlock once you have more than two me's living together. And I found out one of the big reasons why I was struggling to get more me's living together was because whenever a me who already lived with another me asked to move in with someone else, I'd always say no, because I wanted them to stay living with that me. But it turns out if you say yes and you're successful in the little mini game, the other person will move in with you, and they will even bring their own housemates with them if you want it as well. So that's how I wound up getting four me's to live together in the same house. And this alone has added a lot of chaos into the game, so it's definitely something you want to do, as it also saves on space on the island as well. Now, when it comes to the shared house itself, one thing I wish I knew sooner was the fact that you can decorate the shared living area as well as each individual bedroom. All you need to do is click on one of the me's that live there, click on renovate, and you'll be given the option to decorate the main living area as well as their room. And don't worry, even if the room you pick doesn't have a kitchen, your communal space will look exactly the same. It will just have the theme of whatever room you've picked. So every house will still have the kitchenette for them to go into regardless of what you pick. The next tip is a huge one, and that is do not time travel in Tomodachi Life. It won't necessarily break the game, but it will break a lot of the daily elements for the game for a limited time. There's honestly no benefit to time traveling in Tomodachi Life. There's not really anything locked to time other than the babies, which take 2 days to manifest in your game. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's really not worth it. My next top tip is to have fun me watching. Sometimes when I don't have any notifications or I'm not sure what to do next in a game, I will just hover over a me and just see what they get up to. And actually this has proven to be a lot of fun. Sometimes I've had random cutscenes happen from just watching some of the me's. And the same goes for a lot of the different items that you place around your island. Even if they're not explicit cutscenes, there's a lot of really funny animations that go on throughout the game. So just spend some time just looking at the characters rather than trying to orchestrate things going on around the island. Next up, let's talk about everything that you can do each day in Tomodachi Life, especially if you're someone like me who likes to check in on the game often. The first big thing is to get more Miis so you can unlock the market, as this opens 3 times a day, every morning, evening, and night for special items. Now, as far as I can tell, the morning will give you a discounted food item, the evening will give you a discounted outfit, and the nighttime will give you a mystery bag that has 3 random items in it. And if you are someone who can only log in once per day, try and make sure you get to the market at nighttime, because this is by far the best for unlocking a whole multitude of items. You're also going to want to check each of the stores for the daily special as well, because once you buy one of the daily special items, they become permanently available on the roster from each of the stores. So it's well worth having money set aside to try and buy each and every one of these. You're also going to want to check the news out each and every day. It doesn't really do anything, but it is absolutely hilarious to see the different cutscenes. Now, if you are finding yourself a little bit short of money, chances are you just need to make more Miis, because the main way to make money in Tomodachi Life is to simply take care of the Miis. The more Miis you have, the more money you get. My next tip is more of a reminder, and that is that you can go into your island's dictionary and change up any terms that just don't work, as there's definitely been a few terms that I've added that I've given the wrong context to, so it doesn't really work in a sentence. So all you need to do is open the menu, go down to Island Info, and click Island Dictionary. Another tip is to go to the same menu and click Resident Personalities to see which personality types your villagers have and if you're missing any. And as you can see, I'm actually missing quite a few, despite having 24 Miis at this point. So clearly I need to try some different combinations to try and get them. I think my final top tip is to go look for inspiration. This has been a game that has been so funny to watch other people play it and see what other people have done. So if you're looking and trying to figure out what to do in your own game, go and watch someone else for a bit and see what they've done, because there might be a way to unlock so many more cutscenes that you didn't even know about. Let me know in the comments down below if I've missed out any of your top tips. And if you want to see some of my other favorite cozy games on the Nintendo Switch, click this video here.